When I look back at my dating history, it feels like reading an anthology of chaos, heartbreak, and the occasional comedy. Over the years, I've made my fair share of mistakes, some minor, others catastrophic, and learned valuable lessons that shaped who I am today. As painful as these experiences were, they've taught me more about love, boundaries, and self-respect than any book or advice ever could. So, let me take you through my journey of dating mishaps and the lessons I learned the hard way. If you're someone who's been navigating the tricky waters of relationships, I hope my story resonates with you and maybe even saves you from making some of these mistakes yourself. My first major relationship was with a guy named Ryan. We met in college, and he was the quintessential bad boy with a magnetic charm. At first, I thought his rebellious nature was thrilling. He was spontaneous, unpredictable, and the opposite of anyone I'd ever dated. But over time, those exciting traits turned toxic. Ryan was unreliable, dismissive of my feelings, and prone to vanishing for days, without explanation. I vividly remember a night when he promised to take me out for my birthday, only to text hours later saying something came up. That something turned out to be a party with his friends. The lesson? Red flags don't fade over time. They only get brighter. I learned that ignoring someone's consistent disregard for your feelings is a recipe for heartbreak. If someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. My next relationship was with Alex, the opposite of Ryan in every way. He was kind, attentive, and everything I thought I wanted. The problem wasn't him, it was me. I became so focused on making the relationship work that I lost sight of myself. I stopped spending time with my friends, dropped hobbies I loved, and centered my world entirely around him. At the time, I thought this was what love was supposed to look like: sacrifice and compromise. But as the months went by, I started to feel empty. I had given so much of myself that there was nothing left. When Alex and I eventually broke up, I felt like I didn't even know who I was anymore. The lesson? A healthy relationship doesn't require you to lose yourself. The best love stories are those where both people grow together while maintaining their individuality. Then came Josh, a guy who was nice but uninspiring. After 2 heartbreaks, I convinced myself that safe and good enough were all I needed. Josh was kind and stable, but there was no spark, no passion. I stayed with him for over a year, ignoring the nagging feeling that something was missing. I told myself I was being too picky, that I should be grateful for someone who treated me well. But deep down, I knew I wasn't truly happy. Eventually, I had to face the truth. One night, as we sat in silence during yet another dull dinner, I realized I deserved a love that excited me, not one I tolerated. Breaking up with Josh was hard, but it was the first step toward valuing what I really wanted. The lesson? Don't settle for less than you deserve. You can be grateful for someone's kindness while also recognizing they're not the right fit for you. And then there was Damien. Oh, Damien. He was the ultimate project, a brilliant but deeply troubled artist. He had an air of mystery, and I thought it was my job to bring out the best in him. I poured my heart into trying to fix him, believing that my love could heal his wounds. But instead of helping him, I only drained myself. Damien wasn't ready to face his demons, and I wasn't equipped to be his savior. The breaking point came when I found myself crying in my car after another one of his meltdowns. I realized I had spent so much energy trying to fix him that I had completely neglected myself. The lesson? You can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved. Love is about partnership, not martyrdom. It's not your job to fix someone else, it's theirs. After Damien, I decided to take a break from dating. I spent a year focusing on myself, going to therapy, rediscovering my passions, and learning to set boundaries. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. I realized that all my dating mistakes stemmed from one underlying issue. I didn't value myself enough. I ignored red flags, lost my identity, settled for less, and took on the burden of fixing others because I didn't believe I deserved better. But through self-reflection, I learned to recognize my worth. I stopped seeking validation from others and started building a life that made me happy, with or without a partner. Now, I'm in a place where I approach dating with a clear sense of what I want and what I won't tolerate. I've learned to communicate my needs, set boundaries, and walk away when a relationship isn't serving me. Do I still make mistakes? Of course, I'm only human. But each experience teaches me something new, and for that, I'm grateful. If you're struggling with love, know that you're not alone. Mistakes are part of the journey, and every wrong turn brings you closer to finding the right path. Thank you for listening to my story. Dating is a roller coaster, but every twist and turn teaches us something valuable. Have you ever made a big dating mistake or learned a tough lesson? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear from you and connect. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Confess and Connect for more real-life stories about love, life, and everything in between. Remember, every mistake is just a stepping stone toward discovering yourself. See you in the next video.